Welcome to Second Listen Saturday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share some fun moments from a past episode for your weekend listening pleasure. Look for new episodes every Monday through Friday.
All those big and small things we do that make our kids' lives easier. And guess what? Do they even know that they're happening?
Do we get thanks? No.
So, Nicole, you had felt like you did a lot to make your daughter's life easier when she moved into her dorm room.
Yeah, I mean, she has probably more needs than most in terms of staying organized, because that's a skill that she needs a lot of support with. So I spent a lot of time online, like researching, different storage solutions, cubes versus, underbed storage versus overhead storage versus like all kinds of different, like command hooks and, I don't know, clips, and it's just been endless. And I'm not sure she understands how much effort went into that. Because I was trying to help her create a dorm room that she could work efficiently in and kind of stay organized in. And I know that's not, okay, I took over in that sense and I really shouldn't have. But if I had left it to her, I needed to model what.
Set her up for success. That's what
exactly. Set her up for success. But so when we were unpacking, and I'm pulling out all this stuff, my husband's like, "What the heck? Does she really need that?" He couldn't believe it.
Did you bring a label maker?
Oh gosh, I didn't. I never even thought about that.
Uh-oh. How will she ever know where things are now?
I know.
Just get one, print everything, print all the labels, and mail them to her in an envelope.
And then say you expect to see the labeled things on social media.
Right.
Well, I just kind of thought that might be a little bit like overkill. I mean, I did get a lot of the see-through IKEA storage baskets. But
storage baskets are so seductive, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
You start looking at them and you just need all of them everywhere.
Yes. I know. And they look so pretty too.
They do.
And they matched her duvet cover.
They're irresistible.
I know.
I love the idea of storage and organization. I am super into buying things for storage and organization. The actual storing and organizing is my weak point.
Yeah, that's right. It's harder.
How about you guys? What do you guys do for your kids behind the scenes?
Well, things like buy gift cards so that they'll have money for gas and to grab food or whatever.
What a good idea.
Yeah, and
so that they don't need a credit card.
Yeah, I mean, they have debit cards actually for just emergencies. But, for fundraising for our figure skating club, one of the big things is Script, where you can buy a gift card for face value, and then you get money back to your club.
Right.
Good idea. Can you go online and find out where that gift card has been spent and trace their movements that way?
No.
Okay, you can do that with one of those prepaid Visa cards. So I was just wondering about gift cards.
No, this is I buy it for the gas station that we use or whatever. But you can't tell which of the many quick trips
that is a weakness
we've been to. But yeah, so I do that. I do things like, just putting things in place, again, organization, storage, putting things where they will be seen or where they will be found when they're needed. That kind
of having it set out and laid out for them.
Right. Just, I don't know. I feel like there's so many things that I do probably without even thinking.
That's right. This has all been reminding me about when my son started college. He had at that time a cell phone, but it was one of it was like a flip phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this idea that I was going to enter all his classes in there and set an alarm so that he would know all by himself when it was time to get up and go to class. Because I would drive him there and I would stay all day at the community college and then drive him home and we would be hanging out in the cafeteria. But I thought, you know what? He should have his own alarm. I shouldn't have to be telling him. So I programmed everything in that stupid flip phone with that. You have to hit the number a certain amount of times to get a letter. That is the reason my son got a iPhone. It's like one semester of that, and I'm like, forget this.
Because it wasn't to make his life easier; it was to make your life easier.
To make my life easier. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I used to, in terms of, and he never appreciated that particularly. I don't know how much he even paid any attention to it, but it was important to me, and I would, all through school, but even in college, I would. Put the names of his classes on his folders. I would buy his folders. I would buy his notebooks. I would put the names of his classes on them. I would put his name. I would get everything all completely, put together. No, thank you. They would soon you would still forget them or not know which was which. Or, I was so careful. I would put labels on things. I would, everything. Every textbook was, put in his backpack on the right day. I did all of that stuff. I don't know if he could have done it himself, but he certainly never had to. It's like, let me do that for you, honey. You just focus on learning things, and I will completely facilitate every other thing. I will select your classes on the computer. I will buy your textbooks. I will do all of this. And, I was the administrative assistant throughout his college years. This was my job. and honestly, all through school, pretty much. But the putting things in the backpack the night before was always a thing that I did.
Yeah.
So
I just would have checklists. I used to make checklists, and lay them out on the table and put the vitamins beside it. Like, oh my gosh. My son was pretty good. I still have to send him reminders, but yeah. She needed a lot of support. So,
well, I mean, that's a legit thing for moms to do, I think. Since my kids both have disabilities, I probably take it a little too far. I just want to take all of that stuff off their plate because it's frustrating. And my daughter, as she's gotten older, has taken over more and more of that. And I really appreciate that. And I really think that's great, and support her doing it, and try not to nitpick that she's not doing it the way I would do it, even though it's hard. But my son is like, oh, fine, cool.
Right. Carry on.
I'm just going to flip through my life. You take care of everything, will you?
Yes.
And, I'm kind of okay with that also. You've given me a purpose to live. Yes, thank you. But I recently, his room was sort of like something out of Hoarders. So we recently did a cleanup, and he got rid of a bunch of old stuff. And I bought, because this is what you do in these circumstances, lots and lots of storage bins.
Right.
It's an opportunity to buy storage bins. Yes.
I know.
Yes. We'll put everything in these storage bins, honey, and then you'll still have it. And you can see it through the clear plastic of the storage bin, but it'll be up off the floor. And he's been extremely slow to take up the challenge of filling said bins. I got him a whole bunch of small ones because he has these drawers and drawers full of keys. He collects keys. And I thought, I know, we'll get little storage bins, and you can put some keys in each storage bin, and you can sort them, and then you can see them, and then you can play with them. It'll be great. And he said, oh yeah, sure. They're empty. So, and the drawer is still full of keys. So it's like, well, it's at least out of sight. The stuff that was on the floor is in bins or gone. I have to accept partial success.
Right.
Yeah.
But every time I walk in his room and see those empty bins, I want to fill them up so much. And I got little carabiners that he could hang individual keys on, and I put them all over his bookshelves, and they're empty mostly. And, if I get a storage item and do not fill it, it's because I'm busy and I have stuff to do and, priorities. When I buy things for him and he doesn't use them, What's the matter?
Right.
Why aren't you doing
man?
it? Do it now. You can't possibly have anything more important than filling these up for me. And the family pathology gets passed down from generation to generation. Except he bothers me when I don't fill stuff up. I still don't fill it up, but it bothers me. Doesn't bother me.
Right, no, it's not going to bother him.
This is the essential difference.